Hi there, I'm Cindy Russell, and this is Spotlight on Souris for April 6, 2023. I am here with Mano, and we are talking community garden here in Souris. This is exciting. So what inspired you guys to start a community garden?
Well, I know from discussion of our members, a lot of us were talking about the rising cost of food. We were talking about a desire to become less dependent on supply chains and grocery stores and more on each other, and having an open space where we can learn about food preservation, foraging, gardening, and talking about a composting program as well, a better place for our kitchen scraps. But what really kicked it off was a Facebook post that a community member made that said we should all get together and talk about that. And we did. March 24th was our first meeting.
Perfect. It's super exciting, and I don't really have a green thumb, and I know that's odd as the flower lady here in town. But when it comes to the dirt and stuff, like, I think I could do it, but I would need help, and you sound very, very knowledgeable on this stuff.
Well, thank you. And actually, it's funny you should say that, because some of the members that came to this first meeting actually freely admit to killing every plant they've ever had and not having a green thumb, but they're just really excited about the opportunity of having locally grown food and having learning things for kids and access for seniors, etc.
It would be great for the kids, because I think that's just a lost art as the years go on and things are so much easier. You just go to the store, right? As opposed to, you know, our grandparents did the growing of stuff for the most part, right? So when you say community garden, how much of this project will truly be like community members, and what about people that aren't part of the membership?
So right now, this is very early days, but what our group has decided is that whatever land we end up getting will be 50-50. So 50% will likely look like personal plots, and 50% will be dedicated to truly free community-based sense. So that those would look like, fruit trees and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. That's cool. So then the spaces, like for the plots and stuff, I guess, I don't even know if that's what you call them, what would those kind of look like?
So the community spaces are going to look more like pollinator gardens and communal spaces of learning. And the personal plots, as I said, this is early days, so we don't know what kind of sizes or spaces we'll be working with, but they'll likely have a yearly membership fee that'll help us with shared expenses, gardening equipment, or if there's water costs or anything like that, that'll keep the garden going. Yeah.
And what do you foresee as kind of the greatest challenge for this project?
So whenever you're looking to start up a community garden, you look at the issues specific to the town, and I think the one that came up immediately in our meeting was the deer. They seem to pose an imminent threat to anything tasty that's growing out of the ground. So any of our community gardens that are things deers like to eat would have to be fenced or caged. And then our access to water is something that's universal to community gardens. So whatever space we need to make sure that we have good watering systems and good access to water.
And do you have an area, or where, like, do you know where you're going to put these gardens, or what's going on with that?
So the good news is that there are spaces. So we know we're going to go ahead with some kind of garden. We're still in early days, and we've applied for a few grants that we're really excited about, and we have a couple meetings with potential partners coming up that we're really excited about. But currently, for sure, we have some individuals who have offered up their own private land and parts of their yard for community garden spaces. So we have that for sure, and then we're hoping to expand to larger areas, and we're looking at a model that would have several places around town as opposed to one central hub. That way people may not have to travel as far. We're really looking at this from a multi-lens community perspective, right? People with mobility, people with small kids, people who, may not have a car, right? So we want to have easy access for everyone.
Well, our community here is very good at stepping up and offering stuff like this. It's very good.
I've been so impressed with turnout and with passion. I moved here in the fall, and my partner and I have just been blown away about how Souris shows up.
Souris is good. Yeah, we are community. Yeah, if you had to define community, you'd see Souris, I think.
Yeah, we love it.
What are you most excited about?
For me, it's the community connections. Like you were saying, it's kind of, a lot of this stuff is kind of a lost art. Not everyone had a mother that paid her 10 cents per pile of weeds, per bucket of weeds that she picked out of the garden. But my family is really passionate about food preservation and fermenting processes like sauerkraut and kombucha and all these different kinds of Manitoba wild edible plants, lamb's quarters, and things you can forage in your yard, and dandelions, and how to cook with them and stuff like that. So I think the community garden for me and my family is kind of a launching point into greater connections and learning and collaborating and really sharing resources. And I know in our group that was really enthusiastic. There was really enthusiastic feedback about the community garden, and even from people who can't grow things, just access to learning about it and having those community garden boxes perhaps in the downtown with really easily accessible stuff. So
I think it's going to be fun.
I'm really pumped. I wore my best
Yes.
gardening outfit. I'm a pretty big garden nerd. I was very sad to leave my garden.
Yeah.
And with the deer and the challenges and stuff like that, I'm really excited to think that there might be a place where I could share some of those challenges and rewards rather than battle it on my own. So.
Perfect. So if someone wants to help out that maybe hasn't been to the meeting that you guys have been to, like how does someone get a hold of you guys? And
Yes, so we are really looking for more people to get involved, even people who maybe haven't gardened before, but particularly people who have, who might be interested in having a plot, who might be interested in being a part of getting this off the ground. We'd love for them to follow us on Facebook, Souris Community Garden, or email us at sourisgarden@gmail.com. And our next meeting is going to be coming up, and we'll post where and when that next meeting is on the Facebook group, or get on an email list with us, and then we can come on down to our next meeting.
perfect. Any last thoughts before we are done here tonight?
I don't think so. I'm just, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
And, if I missed anything, I apologize, and maybe I'll book another interview with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, when you know more and
Yeah.
we need to get the word out, we'll definitely bring you back here, and it's going to be exciting. So again, if you need to get a hold of someone regarding the community garden here in Souris, you can email them at sourisgarden@gmail.com, or you can find them on Facebook at Souris Community Garden. I have been here with Mano, who is part of the Community Garden Committee, I guess.
Startup committee?
Startup Committee, yes, and very knowledgeable. It's very awesome. This has been Spotlight on Souris for April 6, 2023. I'm Cindy Russell. Thanks. Have a great night.